Greetings and salutations. It is I, Professor Macabro, accompanied, like always, by the ever-lovely and sexy zombie, Wesitos. And we are here to regale you with something different in the channel. Maxitos Productions and the Professor Macabro channel always tries to spice it up. Be as chaotic as we can. So, you never know what you're actually gonna get. You might get a movie review, you might get a trailer, you might get a DUI costume build, you might get this sexy lady talking about stuff. Keep everyone on their toes so as not to become stale and boring is the motto of Maxitos Productions and the Professor Macabro channel. Well, the motto is don't let depression stop you from making content. But sometimes that one doesn't work out. So, keep things from being stale. That's what we're going for, yes indeed. And we wanted to do something that we haven't done on the channel. Do you remember if we have ever done something like this before?
Honestly, babe, it's kinda hard to keep track of all the crazy shit you do.
Yeah, so, to the best of our knowledge, we haven't done one of these. But we wanted to make a movie franchise ranking. Yes indeed. And we wanted to start off this one with our all-time favorite movie franchise, and that is the Friday the 13th franchise, our favorite franchise. Our favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween 1978. That's our favorite one, but it's not our favorite franchise. That honor goes to Friday the 13th, and we've already done a Friday the 13th collection video where we showcased all of the movies that we own in the collection, but this time, let's rank them up and put them in some sort of order. Now, we're only going to do Friday the 13th 1 to 10, so I won't add Freddy vs. Jason, or the Friday the 13th remake, or the Friday the 13th series, or the Friday the 13th documentary. No, just from 1 to 10, how would I rank the Friday the 13th series? So let's get started with our favorite one. Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Yes, indeed. This is my favorite one of all the series, you see. It has a lot of things that call to me. It has really interesting characters that I actually want to care about and see get through. It has a kid that's into horror, and I was the weird kid that was into horror, so it has that. And it has a lot of boobies. Oh, so many boobies. Even has some old-timey boobies, with that one guy watching the old Stag films on black and white and silent. So you get more boobies for your buck in Part 4. So, and it also has hot twins. Twins! It's win-win. So, Friday the 13th, the final chapter goes on number 1. The number 1 top spot, you see. What do we put at number 2? Well, clearly, Friday the 13th, Part 3. This is also good, and it also has some good characters that some might be annoying, but they are also kind of lovable in their annoying way. Looking at you, Shelley. So, this is the iconic moment where good old Jason Voorhees got his hockey mask. So that gets number 2, Friday the 13th, Part 3. And the third spot, well, that goes to Friday the 13th, Part 6. I like this one. It unfortunately suffers from being a little bit neutered in the booby department. Also, the violence started getting a little chopped up here and there. But it's still a fun thing, and this is the introduction to Zombie Jason, which would be the prominent Jason from here on out, even in media. What do you always see? Zombie Jason. So the third spot goes to Friday the 13th, Part 6. Now the fourth spot, well, that obviously shall go to the crossover that no one expected, but it turned out really awesome. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Yes, indeed, it's Jason versus Not Carrie in an all-out, bash-to-the-walls, rock-and-sock-'em, Looney Tune-esque match at the end. This one, unfortunately, also suffers from a lot of censoring of the boobies. No boobies on this one, sadly. But, the violence is also headed to shit. But I like the fact that you have Jason versus Nat Carey in this epic fight. And Zombie Jason in this one looks fucking badass. I love how he looks. He looks all gnarly and skeletonly and fucked up. Love. Yes, indeed. I love how Jason looks in this one. So the 4th spot goes to Part 7. The 5th spot. Well, I will give that to the original, the OG Friday the 13th. The one that started it all. And the one that has Mama Voorhees looking for revenge against the fuckers that made their kid drown, or allowed her kid to be drowned. Poor Jason was this gnarly looking kid that got bullied, but unfortunately his swimming abilities were not that good. So he falls down, supposedly drowns, and that sends Mama Voorhees into a spiraling red anger of revenge. So she offs a lot of the fucking camp counselors that weren't doing their job, and comes back later. My one and only complaint about Friday the 13th Part 1 is that they don't really introduce Mama Voorhees that well. I would have preferred, appreciated if they introduced Mama Voorhees or sprinkled her name or presence here and there. It almost seems like an afterthought, honestly. She just pops up at the end, is like, hello, you don't know me, you've never seen me, you don't know who the fuck I am, but I'm your killer for tonight, so pleased to meet ya. And she starts, explaining the backstory. It's a great performance. I love the performance of Mama Voorhees, but, yes, I would have liked to have been introduced to her, to actually know who this person is, to maybe have been given some hints, some references, but, we didn't do it. But Friday the 13th, Part Uno gets the 5th spot. The 6th part goes to Friday the 13th Part Dos. Yes, indeed. This is where we introduce to the town that dreaded Jason at sundown, you see, with the burlap sack Jason. Turns out Jason did not die. He did not drown. He got carried away by the current, I guess, and became a hermit, somewhere. And he saw poor Mama Voorhees get her head chopped off and is now looking for revenge. So, yes, indeed, Part 2 is perhaps some really cool moments, I must admit. So that gets the 6th part. The 7th spot goes to Jason X. Jason X. My one complaint about it is the soundtrack. The soundtrack makes it sound like a TV movie, but it almost was, I guess. But I like Jason X. I like it a lot. I like how goofy it is. I like how over the top it is. I like Uber Jason. I like the cyborg chick that turns into this metal. Cyborg chick turns into metal, but this punk looking chick kicks Jason ass, and then there's like, oh, this is gonna suck on so many levels, and literally gets sucked out. And don't worry, guys, he just wanted his machete back, and then gets macheted. And of course, the epic liquid nitrogen freeze, where he's grabbing the chick into liquid nitrogen, just like, smashes her. Good stuff. So Jason X gets the 7th spot. The 8th spot will go to, let's see. Where will we put the 8th spot? I think I'll give it to, oh dear, I'll give it to Part 5. Yes, indeed. Part 5 gets the 8th spot because, while it doesn't have Jason, it has a copycat Jason. They tried to do something different. Some people like it, some people didn't like it, and they did the Halloween thing where Tommy Jarvis is going to be possessed by the evil of Jason, and then that doesn't get paid off in Part 6. But it has good moments, it has good characters. Has Violet, the super cool punk goth chick that I am always a fan of. Is indeed, Violet's my favorite character. I like her a lot. But the Roy thing, that was kind of like, nah. Even the mask is not really that cool. He looks really weird with his blue chevrons there. And how did Roy get superhuman strength? Did he have, like, anger? Was his rage powerful enough over the death of his chocolate-eating kid enough to give him superhuman size and strength? I don't know. Maybe he also got possessed by the warm evil of Jason and, became strong. Who knows? Now we go to the 9th spot, and I'm going to give that to... only 2 left. Come on, I'm going to give it to Jason Goes to Hell. That one really took a weird turn in the series. Killing off Jason in a very cool intro scene with a very hot chick. Return of the moviness is much appreciated by your old pal, Professor Macabro. But, yes, they really cool intro where they finally blow Jason the fuck up. Boom goes Jason. And then he's a worm. A little slimy worm that goes into people. And then when he comes out, they melt. Like the fucking Wicked Witch of the West. Like, I'm melting. Really cool melting effect, I must admit. And then it has the Necronomicon and the dagger. And, it's kind of weird. Very the hidden kind of weird. But I respect that they tried something different. I'll give them that, but not enough to bump it up into the ranks. So it gets the 9th spot. Jason Goes to Hell. The ending with Freddy and the glove, I thought that was cool. But I don't know, I'm conflicted in that one. I like how weird it is. It's also kind of a crossover between the Friday the 13th TV series, because the main actor of the Friday the 13th TV series is the main actor of Jason Goes to Hell. But, I don't know, it's too bizarre. And then you have the worm thing going into his totally out of nowhere sisters. Well, it's like the Evil Dead where the tree bark goes up the, if you know, you know. So yes, Jason Goes to Hell goes into the 9th spot. And the last spot, the bottom of the list, my least favorite Friday the 13th movie, is the only one left. Jason Takes Manhattan. There's things about this I like. Again, I love all the Friday the 13th franchise. And every movie has something that I enjoy, but particularly, this is probably my least favorite one, even though it has some cool Kane Hodder moments, but it's mostly on a boat. The kills are edited. And it's not in Manhattan until the last bit where he's in Times Square. It's not that good. Is it better than, is it worse than Jason Goes to Hell? In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, yes. This is my personal list. And if you disagree, please leave a comment on why you disagree with my list on the comments down below. But Jason Takes Manhattan, surprisingly, is actually worse than Part 5. Part 5 had Violet, and that hot goth punk chick raises it up a couple of points in my list. But Takes Manhattan, the fact that it's not in Manhattan is a bull-faced lie. And then you have the toxic waste. I wanted Jason to look like Toxie, and for a little bit he does, but then he's reverted back into a kid. And he got a wimpy death in that one. I mean, Part 4, my favorite one, he gets his fucking head chopped off, like, blah, the blade goes through his thing. Like, blah, fucking amazing. Takes Manhattan, he gets toxic ooze into a kid. What? What? That makes no sense. No sense at all. So yes, the bottom one on the list is Jason Takes Manhattan. I still like it. There are things on that I still like the boxing scene where the guy gets his block knocked off. That was pretty cool. And then the effect of his head rolling into the dumpster. And then the asshole teacher, dad, uncle, I forget what he was, gets dunked into toxic waste. And then for a little bit, Jason turns into a hero and takes out some punks that were drugging up the main chick. So there are things that are okay, but it's definitely not my favorite of the Jason franchise. So there you go. That is my ranking of the Friday the 13th series. Number 1, Part 4. I will love that one to death. And I have a couple of multiple copies of that one, and I'm still looking for a Blu-ray of only that one. And a VHS if possible, but that's going to be a little tricky because the Friday the 13th VHSs are kind of pricey. And the bottom of the list, Jason Takes Manhattan, because that could have been so much better. Yes, indeed. Well, let me know again what you think of my little ranking here. Do you agree? Why? Do you disagree? Be polite and tell me why in the comments down below. But this has been Professor Macabro. That has been my super sexy and oh so fine zombie huesitos. And we wish you all, like we always do, a good evening.